You did it! You got the job and are finally ready for work. 3 months pass. You hate it. You feel stagnant, like life just doesn't sparkle like you thought it would in the working world, adding to society. It doesn't feel like you're adding. And it's kind of lonely. Your boss is okay, and your colleagues, they're all right, but it all feels eerily empty. So you go on park runs and tee up on the golf course. You start running marathons, and the community it's great. But the void, though subtle, is still there. You know that you, with your big brain and stack of degrees, could do something more than this. How might you fill the void and rise to your sense of mission in the world? Once more, we are joined by Mathabatha Julius Mojapelo, CASA, CIA, RA, and thought leader for professionals of Africa. We chat about how you can take control of your life and put mission and purpose at the center of your career. We also chat about Africa's untapped army of professionals, the importance of remembering African values as professionals, responsibility versus accountability, the virtue of lifelong learning, and more. I hope you enjoy. My travelers on the road to CASA, quick one. Julius, again, he has an incredible article on 5 certifications that, if you want to grow your career in audit, are critical, are crucial. Please check that out if you are interested. It's again, obviously, from the man, the one, the only, and it's obviously good. If you have not already, check out part 1 and 2 in the show notes. It's linked there. With that, on to part 3. As a last thing, I actually wanted to draw us to Africa again. Right? And you mentioned the untapped army of the professionals that we have. And I wanted to ask you about the future of professionals, but I wanted to sort of contextualize this with the Africa opportunity. So Africa has one of the most important GDP markers, GDP growth markers, backing it over the next few years, which is population. In other countries, in the first world countries, we have population decline. So in your Europe, your Americas, you're seeing the populations going down, and China as well, Japan, it's heavy there. South Korea, 1.2 is there. So for every 2 people, you got 1.2 kids, which is insane. How precipitously they're declining. But in Africa, we're not. And so we genuinely do, if we play our cards right, we have the opportunity to grow at the rate at which we can become the next frontier of opportunity. Now, what would you say is the mind frame that we should, as aspiring CAs, consider walking into this opportunity as aspiring CAs?
Yeah, I think Africa, there are a few levels in terms of my thinking about our issues in Africa. And I think the first one is we take tools and rules from the West. I don't mind us borrowing tools from the West. We can buy as many tools as we can from them, whatever it is, we can buy. But the challenge with Africa is when we buy the rules as well of how the West works. Because the challenge is, by doing that, we negate what we already have that's very strong. So we talk about Africa. And I'm saying there are principles in Africa that are very transcending between all African countries. I mean, I'm talking to in Kenya, and they've got things like Ubuntu. They are looking at that as a principle. You go to Lesotho, you can see the principles are exactly the same. But how much of us think about our neighbor as a country, just the neighboring country? How much talk do we have as South Africans of how do we support a Lesotho? How do we support a Zimbabwe? As a South African profession, how do we do that? So I think the starting point is where we are saying, what are the African principles? What are the rules that we are going to follow in using these new tools that we've procured? Either we've developed or we imported. But those tools must be used within our rules.
Yeah.
The Ubuntu must not go away. It must stay. You know, respecting elders must not go away. Irrespective of what tools we use. It's so worrying when we see how we've just taken the tools and the rules, everything. And we've thrown away the rules that we have and the guiding principles we have, that your neighbor means something to us than it does to the tools we bought. So it means even if I have a car, it's a tool. But how do I use it within the rules of Africa? We've taken the car plus the rule of 1 person per car.
Yeah.
That's a rule. The tool came, we should have used it the same in our rules, not with the rules that it comes with. You know? So you have a lot of things that we start having. You know, you get educated, you have this, you have that, but those are all tools.
Yeah.
But the rules of how you use them should be based on our African principles. And that's why I think there's a lot of shame in that within the continent, we don't do enough to help each other and appreciate what we are doing. So a lot of people, when they travel, don't go beyond Africa. That's the best holiday vacations.
Yeah.
You know, it's very rare that you find people who are like ecstatic about going to an African country.
I'm going to Ghana this holiday.
Exactly. So when we go to Ghana or Uganda or that, it looks like it's a political statement. But when we go to Spain or to France,
he's living his best life.
living the best life, you know? So I think that's where we are saying, how do we then agree that the neighbor is more important? And then it's no longer a choice between the West and Africa. It's who's next to you. If every country in Africa worked very well with the one next to them, everyone will work with next one. And we wouldn't have to worry about, are we working with Kenya? Is this one? Kenya will work with whoever is next to them. And then eventually we'll be connected. And then the second thing is, I think professionals are the biggest chance Africa has of having one Africa.
Why are professionals the key to unlocking or realizing one Africa?
One Africa is very important. And I don't know how we can emphasize it more, because we have scattered capacity now.
Scattered, eh?
Yeah. So if we create one Africa, I think that will and professionals are probably our lowest hanging fruit if we are going to, because all we have to do is make sure that all the qualifications are standardized. All of them. Literally. That if an internal auditor comes out of Senegal and they land in South Africa, they would easily align. And that also means it's easy to export across the countries in terms of systems we use and all those things. So I just think there's a lot more collaboration and talking to each other that should be working. What I've found is that if we are not talking to each other, we are duplicating costs in Africa. Somebody's doing a accrual basis in implementation in Lesotho. They get a supplier from somewhere. And then another one does the same thing. And now this person basically gave you policies. They just copy paste there and change their names. You know, we could have bought them together. But the bigger issue is that you will now have a person next door should you have a problem with the system. Now you've got a lot of African countries that have bought maybe European or American softwares. And now if things go wrong, you have to call the in pounds and dollars and that to get the ongoing support, which is not a problem because the software is good, but we can all collaborate and buy the software in bulk, for example, and let all our government and create a support team that is regionally based, maybe a Southern Africa support team. Then they can support all governments. And we already have the structures like SACU, the Customs Union. You've got SADC. You've got. We should be creating. Professionals need to get closer to those bodies, so that there's a task team within SACU of professionals, of professional bodies, within SADC of professional bodies, within, and I know PAFA is trying very hard to make sure that they have a very strong relationship with Africa at a higher level. So I think professionals at an individual level, we need to start connecting more. Because, structures can only write it.
Yeah.
They can't make us talk to each other.
Yeah.
They can write that, this country and that country want to work together. But if we don't want to, we're not going to go there. Yeah. So the question is, how do we make this thing? For example, now, in internal audit, there's a internal audit conference happening in Rwanda for the whole of Africa. You might find that there are a lot of South Africans that don't even know that it's happening. So there are a lot of things happening in Africa that we don't know. But then you'll find that there's one international conference somewhere and everyone knows about it, and they are even willing to pay a lot of money to go there. I do agree that definitely there's still a lot of discomfort in Africa. And that takes me back to that other issue where I said,
comfort thing.
Don't let your comfort stand in front of your passion.
Is there electricity there?
You're going to start asking those kind of questions. Do they have this other type of restaurant? No, they don't. I'm not going. And now you land, even the airport doesn't look as posh. And you're thinking, I'm finished here.
We're more shut. The South Africans, we're spoiled, man.
So I think having been in a few countries in Africa, I've really come to appreciate that it can't be a condition of going to Africa for it to be luxurious. It's a chicken and egg situation. Do we go and make it luxurious? Because if we wait, it's never going to be. Because they need money to be able to invest in. Why would they invest in very expensive airport lounges when only 3 people come a month? If they've got now a lot of people coming, the demand for an airport lounge is created, and then now you've got one, then another airline, then a business class seat, all those kind of things. So I think there's just a bigger need for us as professionals in Africa to connect, and I've been very deliberate on LinkedIn to make sure that my content is not completely South African. It's broader than South Africa, and it's going to continue growing and even being more specific in highlighting other countries, so that we can, because sometimes we are not working together because we just don't know each other. And if we knew each other, we'll realize that we are more the same than we thought. So I think that's where we need to start. But Africa has got so much potential, as you've already mentioned.
Man.
The question is, are we going to leave it just to the governments?
And this gets into the idea that we were briefly chatting about of responsibility versus accountability. We tend to stop at accountability in South Africa. Who do we answer to? Government, corruption, there's no consequences. But then responsibility, which is what you said, is?
Responsible. You are able to respond. If you are able to respond, that's your responsibility. Are you able to respond? Do it. Don't wait for somebody else, even if there's a boss or somebody that... No. Are you able to respond? How many of us see bad things happening? And we are able to fix it, and we say it's not my problem. But you're able to. You're able. If you're able, you're responsible. So that's where we need to start. So responsibility is for everyone. Accountability for me is the buck stops with you. You are responsible for the ability.
Look, I think accountability, it goes to the leaders on some level.
That's it. You need to account for that ability not being responsible. Why did the ability not respond? That's the question. That's what the leader needs to answer.
And on some level, leader has to... I guess that's the question.
Yes, those two are related. That's why I said the first one is responsible.
Yes.
You are able to respond, which means you have the ability to respond. Accountability is I'm accountable for that ability, not responding. So you have staff members that are able to do certain things. There is an audit, they can do it. if they are not able to respond with their ability, it's you have to account for it.
Yeah.
That's why you have the accountability. So it's not about you doing it. It's about you saying, how did I have able people that did not respond? Because we have a lot of able people that don't respond.
Yeah.
Very able.
Yeah.
And now we are busy negotiating. Why didn't you do it? Because you can do it. Yeah, then we come up, like you're saying, then we start pointing at somebody else. And it's, no, that person did not tell me in advance.
Oh, I even think about as students, it's very easy for students to be accountable because you're the one who receives the results. Like, who answers to it? It has to be me because I'm the one looking at my portal, looking at this 40%. But it always gets shaky when we start to talk about responsibility. No, it was the teacher. The teacher was the one who didn't teach me this, didn't do that. I think if we start at responsibility, we can change things.
Yeah, I think do what you can where you are.
Do what you can where you
Just
are.
you don't even have to answer to anyone. I think the minute you start waiting for permission, you are basically looking for an excuse. Yeah, because you want to be able to blame somebody for not doing something.
Yeah.
So why do you need permission to do something you can do?
To post.
Let them stop you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't wait for permission. Don't stop you if it's wrong. They'll tell you, oh, no, don't do that. Very rarely in my career have I ever been stopped. Very rarely have I ever been stopped. And that's one of the things I even wrote an article about it to say one of the mistakes young professionals do is limiting themselves to their job description. Waiting for permission to do anything outside of that job description. That's the biggest mistake you can do because the opportunities I got are for things I did outside of the job description. The people that accelerate their careers do stuff outside of the job description. Very rarely do you multiply your successes by doing what is expected of you. Very rarely. Very rarely. It doesn't even amaze anyone. Because we expected you to do it, so why didn't you do it? And when you do it, it's like, oh, okay, cool.
Oh, nice. Here's your salary.
And we paid
expect you to answer to.
Yeah. So those are the things that I say, don't let the expectations put on you limit your ability to do more. Like, I've worked in a lot of places where there was never a need to do more. You could have done the bare minimum and survived, and you would have been okay. But would that be you? That's the question. Usually it's not. A you always has more to offer. So if you can get into a point where you are able to be yourself beyond what is expected of you, obviously you still have to deliver the bare minimum first. But then
basic. This is such a big quote that's been guiding me this whole year. Advanced is never not doing the basics.
Exactly. Yeah. Get the basics right and do more. Then you are covered. And that's why I want to finish the basics as soon as possible. I say to people, most people's job can be done in half a day. I can tell you that. Most people don't need 8 hours.
Yeah.
You are paid for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Nothing says you have to do it in 8 hours. You can do that job in half a day and use the other half to do what you want to do.
Yeah. Which could be more of the job.
More of the job. Yeah. Parts of the company that you are not even allowed to touch and you start going there. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. When people say it's above my pay grade?
That's the one you should go for.
I hate that. I think everything can be within your pay grade if you're willing to humble yourself, to learn, and as you said, like, to be willing to act without permission.
Yes.
I think that is such a big idea.
Be driven by purpose, not permission. If you wait for permission, you're not going anywhere. Purpose must drive you. Permission, and sometimes people project their fears on you.
Always.
Yeah. So you're going to ask somebody, can I do this? Now, they're not answering you. They're not answering you. They're answering themselves. They're like, would I do that? Then they tell you the answer. They say, no, don't do it because they are not telling you. They are telling themselves. Don't ask for permission. Follow your purpose. Your purpose will tell you, I am the one that's... Because how many inventions would have not happened if waited for permission? A lot of people didn't even fit into the normal structures of society. But they are the ones that led us out of that revolution and put us into a new one and that. So if they followed the basic principles of what we wanted them to do, because those was projections from our fears. The structures we created them to avoid failure. So if you run away from the structures, we are afraid you'll fail.
Yeah.
So we'll project our fears on you
Naturally.
and say, no, if you actually don't do it this way, it's going to be a problem. But for who? Yeah, for you, yes, it would have been a problem if you didn't do it that way. Not for me. So I think it's that. Just allow rather let people stop you. And rarely people stop you. People don't like the discomfort of having to stop you. They just let you be.
Especially if you're guided by purpose.
Yes.
Because purpose it's ferocious. It's like, if I'm going there and you try stop me, I'm gonna keep going. Now obviously there's laws, there's rules, there's things that are real that'll you'll stop for. But if you think critically, a lot of the time, those naysayers, they have poor context.
Oh, definitely. And it's not yours.
Yeah,
it's their
it's
context.
not yours. It's
That's
not
the
yours.
thing. It's their context. You know, there are people that have left university altogether and went and did their own things, and they are more successful than us.
For sure, yeah.
And what's wrong with that? But imagine if that person asked me, should I drop out? You think I would have said yes?
You see,
no,
exactly.
I would have told them that's the biggest mistake of your life.
Yeah.
I suggest you stay in university and study and get a master's and do this
and
and
a
do
PhD.
that. And a PhD.
Because these things are great.
Yeah, and then there are people with PhDs that have nothing to do with their lives. They are wishing they could have done something else. So I fully agree with you. Don't ask for permission too much. Work on your purpose. Find it and run with it. And give it everything you have.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. If you could go back to close us off to first year, second year, maybe even high school, Julius, what would you tell him?
If I had to meet I've never been proud of a person like that. You know, my background is not a rosy one. So I continuously can't reconcile how I kept going then. So yeah, it's literally a big handshake to say, dude, you saved me. Because I've come to read more stories of people that were in my situation that didn't make it. And I'm like, what made me make it then? You know? And I don't know, because you are a different person then. You know, the conditions you are in, a lot of people have allowed the conditions they are in to determine where they will end up. And the fact that poor boy didn't do that, and now today I'm able to enjoy all these, because at that point, the person didn't give up. Because it's a different person altogether. In a different, I think people underestimate working hard, not knowing if you're going to succeed. How hard that is. I'm looking back now and I know I'm a CA now, but that person didn't know if they'll ever become a CA, but they still worked hard, you know, and that's what I do. So I would definitely say, you know, just keep going because you're going to make it, you know? And I don't think even if I didn't make it in CA, I wouldn't make it other ways. I feel like I could have, with that level of hard work, I could have made it in many other fields. So I definitely think it's a very important thing. And secondly, is just keep learning, keep the learning momentum, because I don't think we learn enough. People stop learning.
Yeah.
At a very young age. Yeah. We get some. I'm like, why are you not learning? What do you know?
Like the moment you get into articles, or the moment you finish with your studies. In fact, the moment maybe even you start studying.
Yeah.
Because you can pass and not learn.
I've interviewed candidates, and one of the questions I asked them is, which book have you read in the past 5 years? And I'll be shocked that people don't read books.
In 5 years.
5 years. And I'm like, what have you been doing then for 5 years? There are people that haven't read any book. None whatsoever. So the knowledge they know is the textbook. They stop there. And whatever their boss is telling them at work. That's it.
Sure.
So they have not done anything to advance themselves. Nothing. So they are not even at phase 1 of just getting knowledge. You know, I follow a guy called Dan Mattel on YouTube, and he wrote a book called Buy Back Your Time.
Buy Back Your Time, yes.
Yeah, and he's big on books are not read, they are studied. He doesn't read books, he studies them. Because you need to internalize the books.
It takes another read. It
Yeah.
takes a few reads. if
Exactly.
anything, yeah.
So the first one, so if you've read a book once now, you haven't read
yeah, you haven't actually read it.
It's okay.
Yeah,
It's the same as the tabloid you've read once. You don't remember them. So if you want to really change, you have to study books. The same way you study to change you have to take that same approach. So so I value a lot of learning. So if I had to go back, I'll just say, keep going. Because I had the opportunity of reading a lot of this cartoon character movies and stuff, and I just got used to reading.
You're
very
inspired
early.
by
Yeah, I
them
got
as
inspired by the stories I read in there. Ooh, these people are successful heroes and stuff like that. And I didn't know that was building a very good muscle of reading and stuff. Now you read different types of books,
Yeah.
but it's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Yeah. So I've had that. Although I was in a very not so privileged situation, but I think mentally I was cleared to focus on the right thing. So if I had to go back, I would definitely just say, I keep going, but you're on the right track. Don't worry. Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Don't stop. Another thing that came to my mind was input goals over output goals. Focus on what you're just putting in and get satisfaction from that.
Yes.
Keep going and never stop learning. Guys, if you have not already, please follow this. Check out Julius on LinkedIn. He is absolutely incredible. The insights that he shares, that newsletter that you have on audit and assurance, it is so insightful for young professionals and professionals alike in the professions of audit and internal audit. I hope that it does not end, but that it begins in CASA.
Definitely. Always. Thank you. Thanks for hosting me. Thanks.
Thank you.